Hey, what's up, guys? Today is Monday, and getting over the weekend. Had a really good weekend. Super busy on Thursday and Friday, so I missed a video there toward the end of the week. So I guess you guys have noticed that I've kind of missed a few days here and there. Which, if I miss a day, there's just not really a lot that's interesting to share. So I've got to pick up the pace. I want to do better, but as far as being busy on Thursday and Friday, I tried a little bit of. I got a late start in the week on my project, and that's why my video didn't come out yesterday. So I'm shooting for tomorrow release for this week's video. But what I did something a little bit different than I'm not really used to, and I worked on multiple projects in one day, and I completed start to finish 3 projects. So it was like all day I was busy, but I got 3 projects done in one day. So hopefully I can release this in enough time that if somebody wants to try this, I think it'd be really cool to try to get 3, like, say, gifts for Christmas done. So anyway, the 3 projects that I did, one of them was a wooden doormat, which is super simple. And then I also made a pen, a slimline pen. Obviously I've got a lathe, so it's easier to do it that way. If you don't have a lathe, then, you know, if you have a drill press, you can do it that way. There are other ways to make pens. And then also I made some end grain coasters. I tried to get 3 sets out of this blank that I made up. I only got, I guess it's a set of coasters, 4, I guess it is. Anyway, I got 11 coasters out of this blank. So here, I'll show you the pen and the coasters. The doormat is outside, but you can see that in the video when I release it. So here's the pen. There's the coaster. I'll show you that in a second. But this is the pen that I made. Now, Brett Scott, a guy that I met in Birmingham at the City Hardwoods meetup, he won this pen blank. There's actually another one that Rocket City Woodworks, I think, is the one that donated this. But anyway, Brett Scott won it, and he doesn't turn, so I told him I'd turn him a pen or 2 and send it to him. So this is one of them. I think this was cast in resin. It's like a burl. I'm not real sure what kind of wood it is, but it's really interesting. So it turned out pretty good. The finish that I used didn't turn out so well. So I'm going to take this back off on this end and try to rub some finish on this to shine this up to give it a little bit better look. I had a little issue with, let me see if you can see it. Look toward the end where the wood meets the tip of the pen. You can kind of see that super glue filled in there. The end of it busted on me, but I filled it in, and hopefully, I think I fixed it. So the super glue looks great. I really like that a lot. I love the slimline version, but I need to put some more finish on that. And then here are the coasters. And so here, the way I did this, I glued up a bunch of scrap pieces, okay? We've got some curly maple in there, some red oak, some black walnut, some elm. There's a couple of pieces of sapele in here. So anyway, I just glued all those up, planed all 4 sides, got it real smooth. It was nice and square. And then I ran through the router table, like if my bit was here, ran it through the router table and rounded over the edges. And then I took it to the miter saw and just sliced the coasters up like a loaf of bread, basically. And then each individual coaster, I ran it through that same setup on the router to round over the bottom. So now when it sits down, it's got a kind of a floating look. And then I just sanded the edges and everything to soften the corners. But it turned out pretty good. It's like a mini end-grain cutting board. Put some butcher block oil on it, and turned out pretty good. So those are easy to make. Now, what I had to work on in this whole project was, like, I knew those coasters were going to have a glue up involved. So that was one of the things that I told myself, I've got to get to the point where that glue up is, and then I've got to start working on something else. And I knew there was going to be 2 glue ups in those coasters, and then I knew the epoxy on the pins of course, it wouldn't take a lot of time for that to set up. But I had a couple of things there, and even putting finish on all these projects. So I had to work and actually play it out in my mind, like, okay, I've got to get this done. so I can move to this next one and I can work on this while that's drying. And so it was a really good exercise for me to kind of practice working on multiple projects. Usually I'm working on one project, but sometimes I'm working on more than one thing. And this was a really good deal because I made 3 things start to finish in one day. So I made the pen, the doormat, and the coasters all in one day, start to finish. So no computer work that day. It was just full woodworking all day long, which was actually great. So that's the video I'm trying to get out for tomorrow. All those projects in one video and how I worked through all of that to try to get it done. So it should be pretty cool. So be looking for that. And if it doesn't come out tomorrow morning, it'll be hopefully sometime tomorrow afternoon. But I'm trying. So here's one more thing before I let you go. This video is running about 5 minutes. So I'm getting into a little bit of audio. I don't know if I call it a podcast. So I want to kind of mimic this channel. I want to talk about things that you guys want to hear, what you guys want to see, or not see, but talk about. So I don't want it to be like a formal podcast, like this is what we're talking about today, or this is who we're interviewing. I just kind of want to go through the flow, kind of a live deal, but it's not going to be live. It's just more interesting than saying, here is a layout or a guide we're going to go by every show. I just want to talk about what's going on in the shop. Bring my kids on, talk to them. Ask them questions about what they want to build and why, and what are some design aspects they want to incorporate in some of their projects, and just just real talk. So that's my idea. And also take some call-ins and questions and just talk to the community and just really have fun with it. That's my vision. I don't know exactly how that's going to look, and I haven't announced it anywhere except right here. You guys are the first ones to know because you're my sounding board. Before I share any links or anything to find it, to find the podcast or the audio show, I'm calling it an audio show, but I want to get your guys' feedback on how do you feel about that without knowing much about it. Just, do you think it would be something that you guys would be interested in as an audio version of this channel? Not the same stuff, but just kind of like this, but just listening to it. I know it had to be delivered in a little bit different way because I can't show you some things, but that's some things I can work around. Anyway, let me know what you think about that. I really love to just know what you think about audio, like a podcast kind of thing. So, all right, guys, I'm going to be working on this, trying to get this done for tomorrow, and so I can get that out to you, and then let me know about the audio or podcast that I just talked about. All right, guys, see you tomorrow. Later.